Congresswoman's Barbara Lee's welcome and greetings. Dr. Claire? Dr. Claire, we're not hearing her, so if you want to start it again. Dr. Claire, we're not hearing the video, so if you want to stop it, and then we will go ahead with Kishon as he brings greetings, and then go back to the video after, if it is that we can solve the volume.
Hello, and thank you so much for inviting me to the State Department and Institute of Caribbean Studies opening ceremony celebrating National Caribbean American Heritage Month. I would like to thank our host, Deputy Assistant Secretary Barbara Feinstein, as well as Secretary Blinken and the entire State Department for convening this celebration. And I want to also extend a special thank you to my dear friend of many years, Dr. Claire Nelson, for her tireless work in the Caribbean American community and for her tremendous leadership. As the sponsor of the National Caribbean American Heritage Month resolution, I want to acknowledge the millions who have immigrated from the Caribbean to the United States since before our nation's founding and in the centuries since. Throughout our history, Caribbean Americans have served our country and contributed to the heritage of the United States through the arts, science, education, business, sports, military, and government. Trailblazers like my mentor, the Honorable Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, and my good friend, Mr. Harry Belafonte, have enriched American culture and politics in immeasurable ways. Many notable Caribbean Americans are also among this nation's first, including our nation's first African-American Vice President, Kamala Harris, and the first African-American Secretary of State, the late our beloved Colin Powell. Caribbean Americans have shared their culture through food, music, and dance and literature, and have forever enriched the cultural landscape of the United States. And the countries of the Caribbean remain important partners, both economically and culturally, to the United States. We are so thankful for this partnership, but we must also acknowledge that Caribbean nations and their people face unique challenges, especially due to climate change. Over the past decade, many Caribbean countries have worked to lift their people above the poverty line. Yet this prosperity remains precarious as drought, sea level rise, and more frequent and extreme weather conspire to threaten these hard-earned development gains. Even the most prosperous Caribbean countries face growing risks that would stretch the capacity of any society to manage. The United States needs to look beyond income to include vulnerability when we think about how to partner effective with our Caribbean neighbors. Now, as the chair of the Appropriations Subcommittee for the State Department and Foreign Operations, yes, as the first African-American chair of that committee, I have been fighting to make sure that the United States acts as a better partner to our neighbors in the Caribbean. For fiscal year 2022, I was proud to include an additional $10 million to promote inclusive economic growth in the Caribbean. This is for the first time, with a focus on women, youth, and other disadvantaged populations. I know that our shared values and vision of prosperity and peace throughout the Western Hemisphere and the rest of the world will guide us through these challenging times. 10 million is a nice down payment, but it's not enough. We must do more. Again, I am so honored to join you during National Caribbean American Heritage Month. This month has been a celebration of the tremendous impact that the people of the Caribbean have made on the United States. Caribbean Americans are a significant part of this nation and its heritage and its progress. Thank you and enjoy the rest of National Caribbean American Heritage Month, June. Thank you again.
Wonderful. We will now ask Brianna to read the proclamation.
Good afternoon, everyone. A proclamation on National Caribbean American Heritage Month 2022. America's strength has always been rooted in our diversity. Since our nation's founding, generation after generation of immigrants have helped build this country, and the prosperity and opportunity that draw so many immigrants to America would not be possible without the contributions and legacies of Caribbean Americans. Today, millions of Caribbean Americans strengthen our country through their vibrant cultures, traditions, languages, and values. In recognition of National Caribbean American Heritage Month, we honor the immeasurable ways Caribbean Americans have added to our American dream. This month, our nation also celebrates the extraordinary leadership and achievements of Vice President Kamala Harris, the first Black American of Jamaican heritage to hold this high office. I am also honored to celebrate alongside brilliant and dedicated public servants of Caribbean heritage, including Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, and Domestic Policy Advisor, Susan Rice. Every day, we see the invaluable contributions Caribbean American communities have made to our country. Our nation has seen the persistence and character of generations of Caribbean Americans who have fought for equity and equality despite continued discrimination and hardship. In addition, public servants like our nation's first Supreme Court Justice of Puerto Rican descent, Sonia Sotomayor, and the late General Colin Powell, the son of Jamaican immigrants, and the first Black Secretary of State have made essential contributions to American society and blazed new trails in service to the American people. Caribbean American entrepreneurs, scientists, medical professionals, teachers, artists, police officers, athletes, and contributors in every field have also left a lasting impact on our society. In spite of innumerable achievements and undeniable contributions, too many Caribbean Americans continue to face systemic barriers to success. Caribbean Americans have been impacted by systemic racism and disparities in opportunity. My administration has taken a whole of government approach to advancing racial justice and equity in order to begin healing those wounds and strengthening opportunity for all. We will continue to use every tool at our disposal to ensure that every American, no matter who they are or where they come from, has equal access to the American dream. During this National Caribbean American Heritage Month, we honor the generations of Caribbean Americans who have built our nation, shaped our progress, and strengthened our national character. Now, therefore, I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim June 2022 as National Caribbean American Heritage Month. I encourage all Americans to join in celebrating the history, culture, and achievements of Caribbean Americans with appropriate ceremonies and activities. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 31st day of May, in the year of our Lord 2022, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 246th, Joseph R. Biden Jr.
Thank you, Brianna. Good afternoon. My name is Keyshawn Keene, and I would like to thank Dr. Nelson for giving me the opportunity to chair Ignite. Ignite is not only an awards segment in which young professionals who exemplify excellence in their areas of expertise are recognized for their contributions to society, but Ignite is also an incubator, which serves as a mentor and resource to these young emerging leaders, giving them the tools and access to resources they need to succeed for causes that have a meaningful impact on the Caribbean community and the world around us. 2022 has been a tumultuous year for everyone. The COVID pandemic, Ukraine war, economic uncertainty, environmental degeneration, lack of quality affordable education, lack of affordable housing, national security breaches, and human rights violations have threatened our humanity. If there's anything that America and the Caribbean have learned, it is that our nation is as good as the sum of its parts, our citizens, and no nation stands alone. Our United States, Caribbean, and global economies and well-being are interconnected and interdependent. The time for embracing the young leaders of tomorrow and equipping them with the resources to thrive in addressing the issues of today has never been more important and urgent. I am elated to chair Ignite Caribbean Forum on the Future, which will recognize 30 Caribbean leaders under the age of 30 years old, helping them succeed in not only serving Caribbean persons globally, but helping them succeed in contributing to making the world a better place. It would be remiss of me to not acknowledge and thank Congresswoman Lee, a leader with far-reaching powers on key sectors here in America and the Caribbean, and whose resources can offer some solutions or at least some opportunities to the Caribbean community. As we heard, Congresswoman Lee currently serves on the Budget Committee and the Powerful Appropriations Committee, which oversees all federal government spending. She serves on 3 subcommittees: Chair, State and Foreign Operations, Labor, Health and Human Services, Education and Agriculture, Rural Development, Food and Drug Administration. She became the first African-American to chair the House Appropriations Subcommittee on State, Foreign Operations and Related Programs. All sectors that resonates with the Caribbean and that have historically been challenging to us. And so I thank you, Congresswoman Lee, for being here today and for offering not only a voice, but once again, your service to the Caribbean and Caribbean American community. I would like to use this platform to offer a strategic framework to our elected officials, stakeholders, and constituents that I believe is a great starting point for United States-Caribbean relations in proposing and enacting laws and implementing policies in key areas that are at the hallmark of both nations' success and that binds us together. So let me offer this. As we tackle the challenges of our Caribbean nations, let us first recognize that some of our sectors are interconnected. So perhaps our approach to addressing these challenges ought to also be interconnected. Let us choose the following sectors, for example: professional services, tourism, and agriculture. One may ask, how does one have a meaningful impact on stimulating growth in these sectors? What laws or policies have far-reaching impact on all 3 sectors, truly given the saying, killing 2 birds with 1 stone meaning? I believe we can achieve such an objective leading from a multifaceted approach. Let me exemplify my point. Let's say the United States makes importation of agriculture from the Caribbean more accessible, which is a policy decision. The opening up and accessibility of the United States market would encourage existing farmers to farm more for exportation and would attract new farmers. The new market would give farmers a reason to hire, wanting to increase their productivity to meet the demand. And let us stress this multi-pronged approach even further by suggesting that while the United States is implementing this agricultural policy and even hosting workshops in the Caribbean on importation of agricultural goods, let us suggest that the government of a Caribbean country also require hotels to have community benefit programs in the form of purchasing agricultural goods locally and investing in local farmers while hiring locally. Since I really want to stress the possibility of an interconnected, multifaceted approach that everyone can agree on, I will not even mention the Caribbean country taxing the importation of agricultural goods, particularly to the hotel industry, so that local farmers can compete with foreign farmers who have a competitive advantage with technology and economies of scale, for example. Initially, the price of goods would be increased to the hotel industry, but as local farmers are able to meet the demand and iron out inefficiencies while increasing output, the cost to hotels would inevitably become lower while attracting and retaining local talent. This new cost savings could then be passed on to capital improvement projects for the hotels, or simply allowing the hotels to lower daily rates to attract visitors. One can see how this multifaceted approach would yield growth in the 3 sectors I mentioned: professional services, tourism, and agriculture. This approach can be applied to other major sectors that affect our lives as Caribbeans. Sectors that include healthcare, education, housing, and national security, among others. The solutions will include multiple stakeholders' involvement and buy-in, and the execution will not be easy, but we all can agree that if we are to tread a pathway to peace and prosperity, we, the Caribbean, have to work together with the United States and with our global allies to enact legislation and implement policies that are mutually beneficial. We can also agree that the way to get to peace and prosperity is to consider and better equip our young emerging leaders as we frame legislation and policies so that our tomorrow is even brighter than today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kishon. That was an awesome charge that you gave to our young group of young people. We really appreciate it. And this is the reason we can say that you are in fact the chair this year. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Now I want to go on and introduce one of the most important persons here, and that is Dr. Claire Nelson. None of this would have been possible without her visionary leadership. We want to really welcome her and ask her to give a few words now. The month, Caribbean American Heritage Month, as you have all known and been aware of, has been going on for over, what is it, about many years, over 25 years the ICS was born, and we started the Ignite Caribbean shortly after. Dr. Claire Nelson has been the White House Champion of Change, has been appointed by the administration, and she has been a stalwart, not giving up at all. We really appreciate her work that she does, and you will hear everything that she does through this week. She is an unending, never-ending, I don't know, you know, the battery? She goes just like the Energizer battery. So I don't know where she get that energy from, but right now we want to just welcome Dr. Claire Nelson. We ask that you'll just give her a hand. Welcome, Dr. Nelson. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for promoting me to administration. I didn't know that the Biden administration had actually brought me on board, but we'll see. One never knows. There's 2 more years left. Having said that, greetings and salutations, everyone. It is so delightful to be here for yet another year. Let me watch my time so I don't go over my limit. I am so grateful that we are led this year by a new chair, Kishan Keen. I wanted to thank and big up Dr. Shelly Cameron, who has been there from the beginning in getting us launched, not 25 years ago, but Ignite Caribbean itself is, I think, is our 6th year, is our 6th class. We began in 2016. And we began on a Women of Prayer, and we, to some extent, continue to sing on a Women of Prayer. But nonetheless, I think with God, all things are possible, and we certainly operate from that faith perspective. Likewise, ICS, the Institute of Caribbean Studies, was born when many of us were in our 30s, myself and a group of most women, I think, it was all men except for me, got together one day as young Turks and decided we want to shake up the status quo because the quote unquote elders at that time weren't giving us any room to play, and we were irritated. We would try to do things and I would say, oh, if you talk to the board, I'm going to talk to the board would tell us no. And after we hear no so often, we got to just do things for yourself. So ICS was born out of that frustration, that recognition that Caribbean people are here, have been coming since John Russrum, the person who was one of the 2 co-founders of the first Black newspaper in the 1800s. We've been coming here since that time. We indeed, much of the slave trade between Charleston and Barbados, the slave ships that were built in Rhode Island and Connecticut were pioneer trade between the Caribbean countries, or West Indian as they were called at that time, where slaves were seasoned for importation in the United States. So at one point, West Indians, our ancestors, were chattel and part of the American history in the colonies before America became a republic. You all know that Haiti was instrumental in sending soldiers to fight the Revolutionary War. And again, we see people from the Caribbean region being a part of the American story. And of course, since emancipation and forward, Caribbean people, West Indians, as we were then called, were coming to Harlem and other places to stake out new ground in their newfound freedoms. And indeed, it is said that many of the freed Blacks that were operating in Manhattan in the early 19th century, in the early 1800s, before full emancipation, were instrumental in supporting runaway slaves from the South and operating in the Underground Railroad. So there is nothing to be ashamed of if you're an immigrant in America from Caribbean region. Indeed, you can be proud because you know that Marcus Garvey, when he came in the 1920s, led the movement for Black consciousness, Black empowerment. You can be proud that people like Michael Terrell and Stokely Carmichael were part of the SNCC, Student National Coordinating Committee, that was so important to the civil rights. And there are individual heroes and cheerers like the late, great Sidney Poitier, the late, great Shirley Chisholm, that were part of the fabric of shaping this American dream. And so Caribbean American Heritage Month is about how we give visibility to our space, our contributions to the American tapestry, to ensure that Caribbean people here, who are citizens, who are born here, who have come here, grew up here, and who will eventually have children here, recognize that we too sing America, whether we sing it in soca or reggae or merengue or zouk or whatever beat that moves you the most. And indeed, that's one of the reasons why we decided not to have Caribbean American Heritage Month be in July. We know it had to be a warm month, right? You couldn't have it in a cold month. But we thought if we put it in July, we really don't want to see any Caribbean people coming down on the 4th of July parade, jump on wine, jump on wine, jump on wine with the American flag. It would not have worked for us. So when we put it forward, it's one of the reasons why June became an important month, because number one, no other Caribbean country, in the CARICOM countries anyway, has June as an Independence Day, so it wouldn't clash. And at the time, actually, DC Carnival was also in June. The then DC Carnival was also in June. And we thought it's at least one big event in the nation's capital that began to put the spotlight on us. So here we are. We are here to create change. We're here to give visibility and voice. And more importantly, we're here to take up space, claim our ground, to have agency in this thing called the American dream. What is the future of the American dream? All of us who live here, those of you who live in the region, and we even have a young lady who is living as far away as Estonia, I'm sure have been observing how America has been changed in the last 46 years. To some extent, it looks like a return to the early days of, is it okay to walk while black, drive while black, what else? Rent a house while black. I mean, everything is going wrong. We've seen a return to racial hatred against Asians, against many of our Caribbean brothers and sisters are of Haitian heritage. And if you're Sikh and you're Trinidadian, it doesn't matter if you're not from the Far East, they assume you're probably one of those crazy terrorists. And so we have to really begin to understand our agency as American citizens. And if you're not a citizen, you're a resident that pays taxes, your agency gives you the right to have a voice in this thing called the American democratic experiment. And so ICS was founded on that premise. Just as how the Israelis, the Italians, the Irish, the three big guys that populate New York drove a lot of the conversation as to how the US government would support those countries from which these immigrants came. We in the Caribbean have to understand we have a right, a privilege, and more so, a duty to play our part. If America is the big hegemon of the world, if America is the one that sets the tone for the global future, then surely we need today to be following the footsteps of Shirley Chisholm and say, I am not bought, I am unbought, and I am unbossed, and step up to the plate. Whether you do it through political office, whether you do it as an NGO leader, whether you do it in starting your own company to make change, whether you do it in joining corporate America, you have stepped out and said, we are change makers. And so Ignite Caribbean is a platform for you to use that collective energy. One person cannot change nothing. If I did not have Dr. Cameron and Charmaine Dave Sandy, Maxine Barnett and Kishana and Bradley Downer and Stephanie Simon to help pull this month together, this event together, it would not have happened. One person, as I say in Jamaica, one hand can clap, try. One hand can clap, try clapping with one hand. Oh, miss, it's a new dance move. Right? One hand can clap, two hands got to come to the class and move forward. So my friends, my new young colleagues, those of us who are inducting into the space that we're calling change maker, we are giving you a badge of honor. We are saying we, the now generation, believe that you are the next generation will build on this platform that we have created for you, and that you ensure that you join hands across the Caribbean global nation, whether you're in Estonia, in Europe, or on the ground in the Caribbean. You're here in America the most for the time being. Let's find our friends in China. We have quite a few Caribbean people in China. You never can know. We need to know a Mandarin, okay? Let's gather together our Caribbean nation to ensure we are not left behind. We are not the chattel of the future. We are indeed the champions of our own destiny and the architects of our future. So with that, I thank you for the opportunity to share, Dr. Cameron, and I want to say to all of you, seize the day, seize this day, and make it what you will. Thank you.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Claire Nelson. There's no wonder this initiative has been successful over the years. That passion and drive that you show is very igniting, should I say, catching. So we really want to give you thanks for sharing that with us. One of my things is as Kishon had mentioned and Dr. Claire also went into, is the American dream. And my research was basically on the American dream. But now these days I'm reflecting, is it still existing? Is there still such a thing as the American dream? It has been evolving. All of us have dreamed, but that dream has been evolving. Now, I wanted to take the opportunity to share with you and to give you a little bit of an overview of this process that we've been going through. So greetings, my name is Dr. Shelly Cameron, and it is an honor and a privilege to have been a part of this in the inaugural team since 2016 under the visionary leadership of White House Champion of Change, again we said, Dr. Claire Nelson. I've been a judge since it began and was hosted at the Inter-American Development Bank in Washington, D.C. I would like to publicly thank Jerry Butler, who has been with us for many years during the first session, 3 to 4 years, when the event was held at the IDB. When the pandemic hit, it didn't stop us. The event was hosted virtually last year, 2021. Our goal is to resume the in-person ceremonies next year during our June Legislative Week celebration, as it is now. Our process entails a call for submission of nominations for talented individuals who are making big changes in our society at home and abroad. We search for top change makers with the criteria being of Caribbean American heritage. You must be under the age of 30 years old before the event, and you must be making a significant difference in our society. Nominees are judged under the categories of outstanding academic performance, leadership and change, that's a big one, leadership and change making, entrepreneurial or professional success, and overcoming personal adversities or challenges, as we all have to go through in order to strive. This year's judges was really a hard process. We had 5 judges included, and their names are Maxine Barnett, who is the principal of Soft Skills Services in California, attorney Cheryl Murray Powell, who of Creative Services, as she's in New York, Abby Charles, who's the director of the Institute of Public Health Innovation in DC, and Miranda Alexander, who is the founder and president of Caribbean Community in Philadelphia. All these stalwarts were the ones that helped us. Our judges will definitely now be shortly presenting the list of honorees. As your names are called in your different groups, we ask that you will share a 1-minute elevator speech, just a short introduction to yourself. And then our next step is we had a workshop this morning, and this afternoon after this program ends, we'll be having honorees will be going through the opportunity and giving it to pitch their initiatives for those who are interested. Honorees will receive an Ignite Caribbean Certificate of Recognition for being selected this year. This will be sent to each nominee under separate cover. Coaching sessions would also be awarded to 2 honorees based on their pitch from our professional and business coaches associated with the organization. 1 lucky persons will receive a support also for their community initiatives. And these can be different types of support, whether it's small financial donation towards the initiative that you're doing or what. But this happens during the pitching session. So today I want to say congratulations. Today you're all winners. You're now being publicly recognized worldwide as a lucky honoree in this year's Ignite Caribbean Changemaker Award for 2022. Please join me in giving them a hand. Thank you. And we will go ahead with our first set of nominees. And I will ask Abby to go ahead and share.
Good afternoon, Shelly. And like you said, this list, it was so difficult to select. You all should feel quite honored to be part of this group of Thete and the Thete awardees. It's a pleasure to meet you all. So my list of awardees, Stephanie Simon, Cara John, Tanisi Wilson, Shamel Mohabir, Tracel Frederick, and Delroy Marks.
And we will invite now these nominees or honorees to share a 1-minute discussion from themselves, introduction from themselves, I'm sorry.
Hi everyone, a pleasant good afternoon to all. My name is Stephanie Simon and my heritage is Guyana. I am a junior programmer at the Guyana Defense Force. I am also a STEM enthusiast. I am a part-time tutor for the University of Guyana at the Computer Science Department. And I'm the social media operator for Trifinity Solutions, Inc. Nice to meet you all.
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Hello. My name is Shamal Mohabir. I am also from Guyana. I am currently working for Macintosh Medical PC as a medical assistant and technician. I recently gained a certificate from the Institute of Diplomacy and Human Rights in Washington to become a human rights consultant. I'm 26 years old and I am the founder for Youth for Human Rights Guyana. We go around distributing materials and educating youths about human rights. Thank you.
I know I saw Tunisia earlier. Okay, go for it.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Tanisi Wilson. I am of Trinidadian descent. I am born and raised in Philadelphia. I'm currently the academic coordinator for the Center for Black Educator Development, where we strive to bring in more Black educators into our education system. I am also a pageant queen. I've been named Miss Caribbean US 2021, and I've currently this year entered into the Miss America system as Miss Liberty Bell 2022. And my platform surrounds financial literacy. I've been going to different schools and talking about things about saving, investing, budgeting, and all things financial literacy to grow economic positivity and also wealth in the Black community. Thank you for having me.
Delroy, are you able to unmute?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Delroy Marks, and I'm a proud Guyanese. This is the day that the Lord has made. I am the president of the University of Guyana, and I'm also a youth parliamentarian in my country. I am an avid reader and also advocate for men's mental health, women's sexual and reproductive health, and also advocate for education. I humbly believe that education is the only key that can change the world today, since we are faced with different challenges and different situations that are hindering the development and advancement of our country, Caribbean, and the world at large. Again, thank you for selecting me for this year's 30 and 30 Change Makers. I'm beyond grateful and honored for this award. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Tracel? And if Tracel is not able to unmute, Cara John.
Hi, my name is Cara John, and I am from the beautiful Twin Islands of Trinidad and Tobago. I am the owner of Cara Care, and my grandparents are from St. Lucia, and my
Okay, your bandwidth is very low. I think you should go out and come back and we can't hear you. Could we move to the next person, please?
The only other person we had was Tracel.
Okay, she'll have to go out and come back in. We can't see or hear her.
And so Cara John was speaking.
Hi, my name is Cara John, and I am from the beautiful Twin Islands of Trinidad and Tobago. I am the owner of Cara Care, and my great-great-grandmother is from Africa. My grandparents from my mother's side is from St. Lucia, and my grandparents from my dad's side is from St. Vince.
Cara is also one of our youngest awardees at the age of 10 years old. And that is the end of my list if Tracel is not able to jump back on. Congratulations, awardees.
And if she jumps back on, we will just have her go. Maxine, you're next.
Sure.
Thank you, Abby.
Sure. Congratulations to all the awardees. And as I call the names of the next 6, I invite you to get ready, unmute and get ready to give your elevator speech. Firstly, Kristen Kwepicus, Maya Nanan, Ronelle King, Abayomi Edwards Dyer, Michael Richmond, and Owen Walk, W-A-U-G-H. Help me pronounce your name correctly, sir. So let's go with Kristen. You're up. If Kristen isn't quite ready, we'll move on to Maya. And when Kristen gets ready, we'll bring back on. Maya?
She doesn't appear to be on either.
Okay, we go to Ronelle. Maybe some people had problems getting in and they...
Good afternoon. I apologize for the noise in the background.
Yet?
Can you hear me?
Is Ronelle on?
We're not seeing you. If
Ronelle, okay, we'll go to the next person, Abayomi.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mrs. Barnett. My name is Abayomi Edwards Dyer, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank the judges again for this honor. And I am a community leader. I am a consultant. I currently serve as a consultant at the Organization of American States in Washington, D.C., at the Office of the Assistant Secretary General, Ambassador Nestor Mendez. And I am also a mentor for women and for youth. I serve as a camp counselor and mentor for Christian Assemblies camps in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as my church here in Silver Spring, Maryland. I am the chair of our retreat committee, and I also serve as a mentor to women and young people. And I would just like to close by saying, my personal mantra is for God and for country. And in all that I do, I aim to honor God and I aim to represent my country well. So thank you again for this honor.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Abayomi. Michael Richmond, you are up. Okay, Michael is not there yet. Owen, we are passing the mic to you, Owen.
I don't see an Owen either.
Okay, so I shall pass the mic to Dr. Shelly, and we'll circle back to the others who maybe they come on later. Dr. Shelly?
I'm not sure if Abby, is she back on? Because she could speak at this time.
She was fit. Abby spoke already.
Not Abby. The nominee that was not able to. We were not able to hear.
We want to go back to Abby's group.
Is she in?
I am not seeing her on right now.
Okay, so we will.
Frederick.
Thank you so much. We will move on to the next 6, and I will call them. And as you hear your name, you can come on and speak in that order. So first of all, we're going to have Nicholas Key, Neji Nunes, Ashley Scott, Nihil Sanker, Lisa Onisia, and Frankie Rosso. Thank you.
Nicholas is not here. Najai is here. If you could step up, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Najee Nunes. I am of Jamaican heritage. I'm a youth activist. I work as a policy advisor at the UN, and I'm currently a grad student at New York University, where I study global affairs. And I must say, I am so incredibly honored to be inducted into this esteemed cohort. And just to follow the conversation that was happening earlier, I was having a dialogue with someone the other day about the American dream. And they said it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to see it. And I said to them that, I believe the American dream is something that is constantly changing, and I can't tell you what it is, but I know that whatever it may be, that the contribution of Caribbean people will be seminal to its composition. And I believe that the work of my fellow honorees and myself affirms that. And again, I'm just so honored and grateful to be among you today. And I thank you all so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Ashley Scott.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Scott. I am a Fortune 50 data professional, entrepreneur, and consultant of Jamaican descent. I use my experience in data analytics and business to encourage and champion the diversification of the data practitioner pipeline. I previously co-led the project management of an American medical tourism facility in Tanzania, East Africa, and I created the Data Girl social media campaign, which also received international recognition, which supports my Data Girl scholarship. With my online platform, Data Girl Ash, I demonstrate technical approaches to make data-driven decisions while empowering others to pursue their own successful careers. It is an honor and a privilege to be recognized as a 30 under 30 honoree, and I would like to sincerely thank the judging committee and Ignite Caribbean for selecting me for this distinction.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you. Nihil Sanker. And if Nihil is not available, we will do Lisa Onisia.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Onisia Hussein. I am from Guyana. I founded the first and only so far female empowerment movement at the University of Guyana Female Empowerment Movement. I am currently a curriculum researcher intern at UN Women. I am understudying the team where we're estimating the economic cost of violence against women and girls in CARICOM. I am a 2021 mentee of the MCW Young Leaders Fellowship Program. I am a 2022 Cocktail Coordinator for the Caribbean and South America. And I am also the founder and CEO of my most recent initiative and organization called Period Positive, aimed at ending period poverty. I would like to thank the judges for believing in my work and seeing its potential. Thank you all.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Frankie Rosso. All right, so Maxine, we will move ahead with your next 6.
Before I move ahead, I saw that Ashley was one of yours. She had spoken already. You had Scott. Wonderful. Okay. So the next group.
I think it was Tanisha who hadn't spoken, but I'm not sure if her mic and her situation is different right now, but she seems to be back on.
Okay.
So if you're in a more stable environment, Tanisha, and you'd like to speak, please.
I spoke.
You spoke?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sorry.
Thank you.
She did speak. She's from Trinidad Anybody else who hasn't spoken from Abby's group or from Shelly's group before I move forward? Okay, so we shall move forward with the next 6. And as I said, as I call your name, get ready, unmute and get ready. Tashana Foster, Bernice Antoine, Panaz Bash, Lakeisha Singh McKay, Sita Dalu, and last but not least, Ramona Chandravalli. So let's take it in the same order. Tashana Foster.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to first thank the judges for this honor, which I'm truly grateful for. My name is Tashana Foster, and I'm currently a second-year dental student at Rutgers School of Dental Medicine in New Jersey. I'm 23 years old and of Jamaican heritage. My platform is centered around community health through global health research projects in Uganda and outreach dental programs in New York. My passion truly lies within making healthcare accessible and equitable for all people, especially in the Caribbean. Currently, I'm a community health intern at the Partnership for Maternal and Childhood Health, where I'm developing a program to increase the vaccination rate amongst the pediatric population. Thank you again.
Denise?
Hi, great afternoon, everyone. I'm from the beautiful Caribbean country of Trinidad and Tobago. First and foremost, I must thank the judges as well as the absolutely inspiring honorees that have went before me. Your work is truly, truly amazing. I always say that my passion exists where youth development, women empowerment, and entrepreneurship collide. On a note of entrepreneurship, I'm the 2021 Youth Business Trinidad and Tobago Pitch Competition winner, as well as after ranking 10th on the regional merit list for applied mathematics, I founded my business, the Student Mentor Center. On the note of women empowerment, I'm the vice chair for the Caribbean Women in Leadership Trinidad and Tobago chapter, as well as the youth advisor for the Girl Guides Association of Trinidad and Tobago Youth Council, as well as the CSW Commission on the Status of Women 2021 representative for Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, youth development, something that's so near to my heart. I am the female co-chair for the Youth Advisory Group of the United Nations Population Fund, where I advise on all things related to young persons, as well as recently founded my own NGO, Caribbean Youth Personal and Professional Development Network, where we empower young persons to action their inspiration. So thank you again to the judges and all the honorees.
Thank you, Bernice. You'll teach us how to fit everything into 24 hours. I love it. Farnaz Bash.
Hey everyone, I'm Farnaz, and I'm currently a Master of Science student here at the University of Tartu in Estonia. My field of study is robotics and computer engineering. When I was a first year at the University of Guyana, I'm from Guyana, I founded the University of Guyana Robotics Club, which has a vision of creating a space for students to tinker and to learn and to collaborate on ideas. One of my main vision is to see such a maker lab and maker space all across schools and universities across the Caribbean. I want to say thank you to the Caribbean Institute for this recognition, and I look forward to collaborating with my fellow changemakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Lakeisha.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lakeisha Singh McKay. I am a digital business developer in the Verizon Ready Mentor. I've had the opportunity to work with over 200 business owners in various countries because of the Verizon initiative. I'm also the founder and creator of Guyanese Swag, a lifestyle brand on a mission to raise awareness of Guyanese heritage and culture through fashion. Thank you guys for this opportunity. Thank you to Ignite Caribbean and to the Caribbean Studies Institute. I appreciate it. And thank you for making a way for all of us here today. Thank you.
Sita?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Institute of Caribbean Studies and the judges for affording me this honor and privilege of being one of the 30 under 30 changemakers. My name is Sita Dalu. I'm 22 years old, and I would have recently completed my bachelor's degree in social sciences, social work. I am currently the president of the Blairmont Humanitarian Organization, which is geared towards community development. I'm also the founder of the Youth and Social Development Initiative within my community, which basically enacts my my vision for my community and the children of my country to have a higher education and education opportunities to be able to pursue their dreams and their aspirations. I am also the co-founder of Empowered Femme Guyana, and I am a young influencer under the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. I'm also employed as a Child Care and Protection Agency officer under the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. Once again, I want to say thank you, and it has been a privilege.
Thank you. Lakeisha? Lakeisha?
Hi, I just went.
Lakeisha?
Hi, I just spoke.
Okay, great. Ramona?
Hi, my name is Ramona Chandravalli. I am a senior echocardiography technologist at the Georgetown Public Hospital. I'm also the owner and blogger at Rad to the Bone 592, Guyana and the Caribbean's first medical imaging blog. I wear several hats. I'm a board trustee at the World Radiography Educational Trust Foundation. It's a London-based NGO that provides funding for radiographers across the world to be able to access educational opportunities, such as presenting at conferences and educational exchange programs. I am the social media coordinator for the Rupununi Music and Arts Festival, Guyanese Women in Development, and the Guyana Cancer Society. It is an absolute honor to have our work recognized as young Caribbean people. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I am among good people with this year's cohort. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And before I hand back to Dr. Shelly, I just want to circle back to Kristen Coepicus, if present, Maya Nanan, Ronelle King, Michael Richmond, and Owen Wolf. If any of you is present, you can come up. No? So, Dr. Shelly, back to you.
Thank you, Maxine. Oh, go ahead, please. Go ahead, Michael.
Hi, my name is Michael Richmond. I'm from Guyana, Guyanese heritage. I'm young, vibrant, and I'm just willing to make a change with my platform. I'm the founder of the PowerPoint initiative. This is a mentorship classes, a mentorship class that goes around to schools within Guyana. Not only schools, we even do workshop for like workplaces and so on. So what we do is that we create a place whereby young people can reach out to us, explain to us, what they would like to forward, or what they see their future as. And we create a space, an environment where they meet other young people, work together and try to achieve this. But also I'm the founder of the Metoo Youth Foundation. The Metoo Youth Foundation is a foundation whereby we deal with mental health, we deal with gender equality, and we deal with other issues that plague the Guyanese society. So thank you. I'm really privileged to be recognized by you guys, and I'm willing, to work with other that in this year 2022. I'm willing to work with other the other nominees so we can make the Caribbean and the world a better place.
Thank you, Michael. Anyone else who has rejoined us? Maya, Ronelle, Owen, Kristen? Seems like the mic is yours, Dr. Shelly.
Thank you so much, Maxine. I appreciate that, and thank you all for sharing. Our final group starts with Viana Singh, David Adams, Marcus Lolo, Milan Scott, Rihanna Patterson, Danica Henry. Are you ready, Viana Singh?
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vian Singh. I'm 26 years old, and I am a first-generation American Indo-Trinidadian Politico, published author, and activist. I'm a native New Yorker and a graduate at the University at Albany with a degree in political science, and I've pursued work in communications and politics within the last 5 years. I've worked in electoral politics, working to get the first Indo-Caribbean woman elected to city council in New York. And as of right now, I am a presidential appointee for the Biden-Harris administration at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development at the Office of the Chief Information Officer. I work to further progressive causes, and I work alongside causes that further justice for Indo-Caribbean women. So a lot of the work that I do is at the intersection of justice and gender-based justice. I have a deep passion for mentorship, and I am truly honored to be among so many other Caribbean change makers and world shakers, and I look forward to furthering these connections after this. Thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you. David Adams. Marcus Lolo. Well, I'll go to Millen Scott. Rihanna Patterson. Or Danica Henry.
Danica is there.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
It is, thank you. It is an absolute honor and privilege to be among such beautiful faces, souls, and beings. My name is Denise Henry, a 25-year-old Guyanese native, made in Guyana, of course. I'm, as we Caribbean like to say, patsal. Yes, I'm in everything and anything in terms of assisting others and helping to push narratives, push awareness work, projects, especially with volunteering. I'm big with volunteering, specifically with anything that is targeting the Sustainable Development Goals 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and also partnership to achieve goals. I'm currently a child counselor, a MC. I am big in terms of just raising awareness and pushing persons to know the difference between, right and wrong, and also I like to open person's mindset to, being able to always get back on the horse. One of my favorite quotes is Nana Korobi Yoki, and it's a Japanese proverb that means fall down 7 times, get back up 8. I'm accustomed to falling flat on my face a lot, but I'm also very much passionate about getting back up and doing right by myself and by others. Thank you so much to the organization, the judges, and to the wonderful company that I am in for all the work that each of you partake in individually, and thereby helping us to make not just the Caribbean, but the world a better place to live in. I look forward to working, collaborating with you all, and of course, seeing you all in 2030, making bigger waves across the universe. Thank you.
Thank you, Danica. Certainly appreciate your time. Thank you to all the nominees, the honorees. Thank you very much. What we're going to do now is we're going to move right along to ask Kishon Keene to introduce our speaker. Our chair, Kishon Keene, I'll hand over to you.
Good afternoon again. Alfie Mullins-Aiken is currently a director at Microsoft, focusing on global social impact. Prior to Microsoft, Alfie was the president of Junior Achievement Jamaica. Junior Achievement Jamaica is the world's largest organization dedicated to educating youths about work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy through experiential, hands-on programs. Over the past 5 years, Alfie has built an organization that has impacted over 100,000 Jamaican youths from ages 5 to 24, including an inclusive approach to reach all schools for the deaf. Junior Achievement Jamaica is recognized as one of the strongest junior achievement operations in Latin America and the Caribbean. Prior to Junior Achievement, Alfie spent 21 years at the General Electric Company as an e-business manager, overseeing $600 million in online sales annually. As a certified Six Sigma Black Belt, Alfie led the implementation of quality management systems globally across the motors and controls manufacturing business within GE. For her efforts as a black belt, she received both the Lewis Latimer Award and the GE Icon Award from the African American Forum for her stellar accomplishments. She has held various roles within GE, which includes design engineering, sourcing process leader, and quality leader. Before joining GE, Alfie also spent 4 years as a physics research assistant studying nonlinear crystals and thin films at the Center for Analysis of Structures and Interfaces with City University of New York. In addition to her exceptional drive and accomplishments in her work, Alfie is a leader in her community. She has led the GE Women's Network for Greater Hartford in Connecticut, in the United States of America. She also led the GE African American Forum for the Northeast. Alfie is a past president of Kayasco, a local nonprofit Caribbean organization serving the Greater Hartford region. For 13 years, Alfie also served as a Junior Achievement volunteer and has worked with Junior Achievement worldwide to bring Junior Achievement back to Jamaica. Alfie's lifelong devotion to social impact and leading and cultivating young leaders makes her the ideal person for this Ignite segment. Please welcome Alfie.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Keyshawn, for that introduction. I'm going to just share my screen to just make sure you yes. So give me one moment. All right. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I just do that verbal confirmation. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate being invited here to speak today. It was really great listening to the elevator speeches. I use that quite often. So how do you succinctly summarize a point in 60 seconds? And I think the honorees did an awesome job. It was really great. And as you spoke, connecting with some of the conversations, like the person that lived in Maryland. I used to live in Gaithersburg, which is right next to where you are. The passion around social change, technology, and just trying to make a difference. So I'm going to just share. I mean, Keisha did such a wonderful job. My next slide was a kind of little about me, which I won't drain because this was going to be my elevator speech as well. And so some of this has already been addressed. What I will share is in the bottom right. I'll anchor on some of the joys in my life. And I'm a child of God. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. Love family and friends. Love hanging out. Love our country. Love our region, the Caribbean. I'm originally from Jamaica. When I worked with Junior Achievement, we worked as a team in the Caribbean. So I frequently visited the various countries, Trinidad, St. Lucia, USVI, etc., St. Kitts, all over, just to see how we can strengthen together and grow to really affect the possibilities of all of our youth across the region so that we can impact the world. And so I won't go through the rest because I think it was a great summary. I'll just highlight that I left Jamaica. I was born in Jamaica, moved to the U.S. as a child, as many parents do, trying to advance the family, especially from an educational purpose. But I moved back to Jamaica in 2009 to start Junior Achievement. When I moved down, my company, GE at the time, had just sponsored my executive MBA, which I'm thankful for. And I was able to work with them to transition and still be connected to GE, but transition back to Jamaica. And imagine that is when I was 7, so I didn't really know anyone, but it was a really great opportunity to give back. And as I heard the elevator speeches, you guys are already doing that, which is awesome. And so how do you continue? Because as you heard, I was in Caribbean organizations, even before going back to live in Jamaica full time. I spent 12 years in Jamaica, moved back in 2020 to start to work for Microsoft. And so I'll tell you something else that's happening today. My sister is actually graduating with her PhD. And 15 minutes ago, they announced her name and I ran to come back so that I could be ready for your presentation, because I thought this was important. That was important to me also. And so as I thought about her graduating, that's why I titled my presentation today, Back to School, because I have always wanted to be a teacher, and that's, I think, where my passion for junior achievement came in. And so I said, why not bring it back to school and let's go through some subjects. So I'm going to touch on several subjects with you, and I hope you learn a lot through it. And then it will include virtual lunch, because I really don't have lunch here, and recess, but just let's take that journey. And I hope through the presentation there are nuggets of learning that you can jot down, take back. Hopefully it'll inspire even greater thought so that you can grow as you continue to change the world, right? So let's start with, I'm sure, oh wait, before I start, I said it already, but I just wanted to echo again. Congratulations to all the honorees. As I said, your pitches were amazing, and just thinking about at such a young, tender age, although you kind of feel like, oh, I'm getting older, but at such a young, tender age, all that you've accomplished so far, even just your mindset, where sometimes your peers and the younger generation, sometimes you hear, oh, we're lost and so forth, but clearly no one's saying that about any of the persons being recognized this year. So congratulations for all you do. And I also wanted to say thank you. Thank you for, even in this journey, looking back at the country that you were born in, whether you're still there, whether it's your parents, where you have heritage, and saying, how do I help my country, my region, the world? So thank you for continuing to have a focus in that area. It's really important. I feel like I'm a child in that vein as well, and that's why I returned to Jamaica. But even when I was in the U.S., very active in my community prior to going down and then back, getting active again in the U.S. And I'm still on boards in the Caribbean, monthly boards there, and try to support through other means. All right. So I know this is your favorite subject, so we're going to start with math. It's my favorite subject. And, you know, one of the things I think is, as much as you think, okay, school, I think I've done that. I did hear a couple of people that are still in school. What do I have to learn about math, or what's important? And half the things I learned in math, I don't even need anymore. So I'm going to start with inequalities for you. I'm going to make it very simple. All right, so you know these. And I heard a couple entrepreneurs speak. So I wanted to, and you know, I know it's not Q&A, but just think through. We have four options there. Revenue on the left, profit on the right. Which one of these is the correct one, right? Because as an entrepreneur, sometimes you think, oh, I have money, so I'm making profit. You know, I got revenue, so I must have profit. And that's not always the case. And so, sorry, let me get my clicker. Yes. First, the one that revenue does not equal profit. One of the early things that you can learn when you're starting a business or starting a venture is when you get funds in, there's so many things to pay, all these expenses. However, early in this journey, oftentimes we see entrepreneurs take those funds, start to spend in other ways, and then go deeper and deeper into debt. So if you could remember that early, and when you pull in your revenue, and that's why math is important, because you have to know your numbers. Yes, you can hire in some of those services, and sometimes it makes sense to do so. But no matter who you hire, what firm, what person you pull in, you have to know as well so that you understand the health of your business, right? And one of the things that I wanted to share in terms of finances also is, you've hopefully heard this many, many times, pay yourself first. Oftentimes we undervalue the work. Like if you could think about the talent that you heard just shared across all the honorees, right? Hard knock talent, like top talent. However, when we start businesses, we don't value our time, the effort, and you need to do that, even if it's just written on the book. So it's important to think about, I'm making funds in my revenue model, the top 10% goes into a bank just to put away for the growth of the business, what's my time in it, and so forth. So that's one thing I would say on the subject of math is ensure that you're paying yourself first. It's important. Financial wealth, you know, someone saying that they're rich is very different from being wealthy. Wealthy is when you could sleep in and you're still making money. And so you want that. And even for me, so as you heard, I'm an engineer, executive MBA, shifted to Jamaica to do something that I thought was really needed in terms of inspiring the youth across the country. But it was still very important to make sure that my family was okay. So I had to make sure that was a part of the priority. Oftentimes we think that in this work means that you cannot earn revenue, and you can. My first role at Microsoft when I came back to the US was Director of Societal Impact. I mean, it's that. I told people I love my title, just Director of Societal Impact. And companies are paying for that and paying well. So you want to make sure that you're looking at ensuring that you could continue to do this type of work, and that includes ensuring that your family and you are okay as well. All right, so next class I want to take you through is a class I've never taken. However, I'm quite intrigued by it, and that's anthropology. So we're going into the social sciences. So anthropology has been around since the 17th century. So it's been around for a very long time, and it's really the study of humanity. So as you observe. However, in the culture that we're in today, we're very quick to judge. We call it sometimes cancel culture, or quick to judge. You've heard that. Even first impressions, if you really think about what that means, that you're coming in a room and I'm going to fully, or even 80%, judge who you are, your character, just by your nonverbal, just your presence in the room. And so if you think about that, how you don't really know the person. However, that's what we anchor a lot of who we are or our perception of whomever quickly. And so anthropology is quite the opposite. It takes time for you to understand scenarios. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples too. Right, Pepsi versus Coke. When you think about business rivalry or competition, you think about Pepsi versus Coke. Anyone think about those two companies probably jumped into mind. And so they did a taste test. And the taste test, you get a little cup, you drank Pepsi, you drank the Coke. The majority of the persons tested chose Pepsi. However, one of my favorite authors, and he's from the Caribbean as well, Malcolm Gladwell, his mother's Jamaican. He shared in a speech he did at Microsoft a few years back that Pepsi is sweeter than Coke. So if you're drinking a small mouthwash cup, like a little cup, then you would say Pepsi, and most would. But if you drank the whole can, the sweetness is too much for you, and you prefer the Coke. However, most taste tests don't drink the whole can. However, when Coke and Pepsi are selling their products, what do they expect you to do? Drink the whole can. And so again, it's pausing a bit and taking time to fully understand the full experience that someone has, not this quick first impression experience. And so hopefully as you're interacting with people, processes, as you're thinking about what another product could be, take the time to fully appreciate the life of the product, not just the initial reaction. A lot of times we do these tests, so we bring people in and say, try this, and how does it work? But you need to pause sometimes and see the interaction. And that may take time, but it will yield great benefits. One example is Tide. So Tide is a Procter & Gamble product. Everyone knows Tide. That logo is globally known. And it's ranked #1, at least it was. It probably still is, but the marketing team wanted to assess the product. And so they decided to go to a supermarket and just observe persons as they're navigating through the aisle and see what they would choose, or they're going back and forth, etc. And so again, a lot of people are just picking up the box of Tide and putting it in their cart. And so the team asked the lady, hey, would you mind us coming home with you and seeing just how you use the product. So they were number one. I tell you, it's lonely at the top sometimes. But they were number one, but they were still trying to see, again, the life cycle of the product. So the lady said, sure. And so about 3 persons came home with her, and they went into the laundry room, and she put the big box of Tide on the washing machine. And she said, I'll be right back. And she went to the kitchen, and she got a huge knife and came back. And of course, they were startled. What's going on here? And the lady took the knife and jammed it in the side of the box, and then started to, almost like a saw, go around the box to open it. They hadn't thought about how are people opening the package. And you know it's like hard to open because they don't want any of that to spill out. Well, it was a good learning for them because they never thought about that simple step. Yes, people love the product. They never heard it in the complaints, but not until you were able to be almost like an anthropologist in observation of humans. Did they learn that something else is going on here? We need to fix that. So they actually got their inspiration from Wrigley's. You know how Wrigley used to open up those little 5-stick gums, had the little red thing to go around? That's how they got their inspiration. Again, observing other people or other products. And now, you know, when you open up the box of Tide, that's how it opened up. You know, actually, that's how liquid Tide came about. Before they discovered a way to open the Tide box, from that experience, they developed liquid Tide. And then after a while, they came back and said, how do we fix that issue, though? And then they invented it. So that's your anthropology class for today. I'm going to move on. So the next class I want to take you through is gym or PE. You know that class. Half of you probably like, yes, that's my favorite. Half of you like, stay away. But I wanted to just talk about how do you flex and what are some of the things that you'd learn in gym. So I have 3 examples for that. All right, so I just wanted an excuse to put Usain Bolt in my photo. I don't really have a big story on him. However, one of the things I tell you is, again, you heard me mention it earlier, it's hard being number one, just like Tide. And so you have to continue to train. But you have little role model, right? Little experience of who do I follow? How do I maintain fast? And so you almost have to have yourself as a competition to do better than you did before, right? Everyone else can gauge and follow, and if I extend my stride a little bit more, I can catch them type of thing. But when you're in number one position, it's difficult. One of the things I'd recommend is, we used to call it at GE, our personal board of directors. Surround yourself with people that can inspire you, challenge you, promote you, support you, right? And so at GE, and even now, I have this small group of persons. Not all of them are senior. Some are junior to me. Some are on my level. Some are family. Some are friends. And so when I have a business challenge, something I'm trying to think through, especially with my career, etc., there's a small group that I hold dear, that I know if I go to them, they can give Alfie advice. Not advice that promotes their well-being or selfishly looking at other things, but really looking at me and helping me grow. And I do the same for them. So that one of the things I'd recommend is that making sure you have that personal board of directors. The other one in the middle is a big recommendation for me as we talk about gym, is the top is American football, right? American football is quite interesting to me because you have a whole team, whole part of the team playing offense. And then you have another set of the team playing defense. And so you'll see where when they have the ball, the offensive team comes on and the defensive team runs off. And then when the other team gets the ball, your offensive team leaves and now they're playing defense. So that's not how real life is. Oftentimes you have to do both. And so I think about our football, right? International football, where when you see them playing, and this is most sports, you have to do both. It's the same in business. It's the same in interactions. Play offense and defense. Look at how you promote. Look at how you protect. How do you stop someone from scoring on you, something that you don't intend, and then how do you score, right? So as you're climbing, as you're building, you have to look at both. And then the last point I wanted to talk about is peak performance. And you see mental, skill, physical. There's a author that I listen to quite often. She has a ton of podcasts out. Muriel Wilkins. And she talks about leadership having the same three things as when you're a star athlete. How do you have peak conditioning? So think about your mental ability. What's your mindfulness? What are you thinking about? What's your mindset as you're approaching an activity? It's good to check yourself sometimes because you go into it unprepared. It's intense. A lot of people have anxiety nowadays. A lot's going on. But if you center your mind first, just like any athlete needs to at the starting line, then it helps you just make sure that you're mentally checked in. The other thing you need to do is skill. What are the techniques needed to excel? In leadership, you need that too. You're going into a meeting. So, for example, one of the things I lead now at Microsoft is sustainability for our U.S. field team, our sales team. And so I have to think about, how do I get trained up? What are the skills I need so that when I'm having a conversation, I am prepared? I'm seen as a thought leader. So it requires work, but that's the skill and the techniques I need. And then the last part is the physical. What is the energy? How do I show up when I'm in these? We have a lot of this, no, don't like that. No, don't want to do that. No, this mindset that I see a lot, instead of really looking at what does it take to do that? Yep, I can do that. And so what do I need to build, and how do I invest the time to ensure that I'm building that? All right, so that's Jim. The next class I want to take you through is English. You know, from a standpoint of being well-read, it's quite important, especially with the interactions. Whether it's just what's happening in the world, what is the Supreme Court doing, you know, in the U.S., what is affecting each of our countries in the Caribbean, what is out there that is not related that we need to align to. And so what I'm going to do is just quickly share my top 5 books, and I want to highlight one story from each. And the story won't be long, but it's a point that I want you to think about, and hopefully it'll inspire you to read the books. So I'll open them up so I could just go through them quickly. And this is in order of how I read it, and it's over 20 years. My mom actually gave me the first book, Brag, The Art of Tooting Your Horn Without Blowing It. Love the book, highly recommended. One point that I love from the book is this little tool they call Brag Bit. Now, oftentimes in the Caribbean, just culturally, we don't talk up. We don't share our accolades. And so there's something that you need to practice. And Brag Bit is really taking some of your accolades and making them into like little bite-sized things, so that when you're in a conversation, it could easily be intertwined into a sentence. Like someone's just talking to you about, you know, where they're going to go. And, you know, when I read Brag Bit, when I read the book Brag, they talked about this location, and I think I'm interested in going there too. Now, yes, you may want to travel, but what you've just also told the person you're talking to is that you're reading, and you just read a book called Brag, and that's helpful. So that's good. I like that. The other one is Who Moved My Cheese. I made both of my 2 boys read the book before they were 10. I think it's very important, and I reinforce it sometimes when we talk. It's really a story about hem and haw, these brats, all right, that has cheese, and they're happy because they found a big pile of cheese. So they hem and haw around and just eat the cheese until the cheese is gone. They have no cheese, and they're like, where's the cheese? Meanwhile, there were 2 other people in there, Sniff and Scurry, and every day they were running around trying to find new cheese, even though they had a pile. They were being prepared. They were being proactive. They knew that the cheese was coming down. The pile was coming down. And so how do they prepare for what their next is? Not just riding the wave until the wave is done. So those are those things that you could take and say, okay, yes, this is going really well. It's hard being number 1. But what is the next thing that you need to continue to build on, and so forth? The other book is Outliers. I just really love that book. Again, you mentioned Malcolm Gladwell before. And it's really about some, stories around success and just how different things can promote success. And so you think like a Bill Gates, and, he's the one that invented Microsoft with his co-founder, but the experiences he had put him in front of computers, and that's where they used to hang out, and that's where he got his practice from. He talked about the Beatles, world-renowned. But again, it was just the experience of trying to form a band and going and playing horribly, but practicing. And so the summary of that book is 10,000 hours. Just can hone your craft, can make you excel and be international, like top level, world class from that. Carla Harris, Strategize to Win. One of the things I love from her book is do only the things that you can do. In leadership, as you have a team, you have to learn how to delegate and delegate correctly. And so this allows you to really think through what you want to do, how you want to execute it, and who should execute it. Because you'll find that you have a team around you, but you're doing everything. And a part of leadership is learning what needs to be done with your time and how best. And then the last book, Dare to Lead, Brene Brown, read that last year. Matter of fact, 10,000 employees across Microsoft read that book last year. And Brene came in several times and talked to the team. It was phenomenal. And one of the things she talks about is clarity in your voice and in your sound, right? Courageous leadership. And so she has this thing where she says, paint done for me. And so it's a great way for you to talk. And so what does done look like? Oh, I need you to do X, Y, Z. Like, what does done look like for you? It helps you and the person become level set on how something is to be executed. So those, again, quick five books, highly recommended. Let's see what class we're going to go to next. All right, IT. I have some more stories. I'll keep it short. I know I have half an hour, but I just want to quickly go through a couple of these examples because I think it's important for you to know. So Nokia, everybody knows Nokia. At one point, it was the top-selling phone. You know they started as a pulp? No? Like they made paper. But Nokia has been, even from 1865 when they were founded, has been pivoting. They have jumped through so many products. They had phones. They actually sold their phone company to Microsoft, coincidentally. They went into, right now they're doing optics, looking at fiber optics lines. They had toilet paper, like the whole world, but they continue to reinvent themselves and align to things that they feel can help to solve a need that the world has. And then you have Kodak, perfection, the enemy of the good. Just to give you a quick snapshot, Eastman, this guy, I think Charles Eastman, invented Kodak. You may not know it because it's not around anymore, but he had taken up a love for photography, and he had found a way to make photography available to more people because just like, I don't know if you've ever seen an old computer and it takes up the whole room, or even when you see photo studios, it's like a whole room. That's how photography used to be done. Like you need a ton of machines. And he found a way where it could be easily repeatable. And the company, you know, the top photographing company said, no, the image is not perfect enough. I'm not interested. And he said, you know, but there's a lot of people at home that would be okay with this. And so he proceeded, made a ton of money, phenomenal. And that's how he built Kodak. The flip side, after Eastman, is Eastman also had patents, and they found the way to make digital photography. And when the engineer took it to the board said, but that's going to kill our business. So they shut it down for 15 years. Shut it down, all the patents, shut it down, and did not. They hid the invention. And so what happened? Digital cameras came around and shut down Kodak. So it's interesting how they start and they end up similar, just in two different directions. And Amazon, I love to talk about Amazon. But the story I want to talk to you about Amazon is, and take this as your business, your value proposition, the thing that's core to you, you keep. There's so much I can say about this company. I think it's phenomenal, but it's important to keep your eyes focused. Just like an owl, they say an owl has over 180-degree view from eyesight. So while they're looking forward, they can see everything beside us, and we could do that because I could see my two hands now at the side, not through the camera. But theirs go even further, and they could see a bit behind them. And one of the things that helps is, if you imagine, everyone talks about Amazon. You may hear the story about, Barnes and Nobles, and they started with the book company and went to them and said, hey, we could put books online and selling online, and there's no more Barnes and Nobles. There's no more Borders bookstores, but Amazon is still here doing it. That's one thing. But think about what they also did. So, wow, we're selling books this way. We can sell anything this way. And so they did that. And you know Amazon today. And so they built this huge company and this huge e-commerce platform, billions of dollars. Jeff Bezos, founder, still the president. But about 5-7 years ago, they were doing it so well that they had to have all of these systems in there to manage the data, the photo, and everything. And they realized, wow, we're actually doing the cloud really well, like storing things online so everyone can access it real time, really fast. And then they invented or started Amazon Web Services. Now it's a whole different company. And that's probably one of the biggest rivals to Microsoft, or maybe Microsoft's a rival to it, I don't know. But I didn't intentionally tie this around Microsoft, but when you talk about tech, you can't help it. But it's interesting that they continue to navigate and grow their business because they're paying attention to the entire value chain. And that's something that you should do too. When you start something, think about what else in this may people like. It may be a slice of what you started, and it's okay. Because 100% of something, or even 50% of something, is worth more than 0% of nothing. Don't stick to your old plan. Continue to look and think about what next could be. So that's my IT. All right, let's see, lunch. So I'm almost done. I have lunch, and then I'll give you recess. All right, so of course, lunch, you think about feeding and nourishment. So I'm going to talk about a few things. One is always important, to care for others and care for self. When you're on a plane, it talks about putting a mask on first. Then why? So that you can help the person next to you. So yes, but it's not to exclusively just take care of yourself. Care for others is very important, especially in this day and age, called empathy. And so even at work for my team, I sometimes just listen because I want to just vent, and it's okay. And they should feel like it's a safe environment to do so. There's a book recently that I read, Anxiety at Work. I may have that listed here. Yeah, there it goes. Anxiety at Work, written by Chester Elton. But it's also in our life. Everything is just instant and rush and now, and it's a lot. And so give yourself time to just decompress, calm, and support others when they're going through their stuff as well, because everyone has some element of it. And so if you could continue to look at how do I build resilience around it, how do I lean into it and go deeper, then I think that muscle will be greatly appreciated. You'll see the difference. One of my favorite quotes from like every Spider-Man movie, with great power comes great responsibility. You're doing a lot. Again, the honorees, phenomenal work. You have a lot of responsibility now. Use it wisely. Very important. And so you can do wonders, and I'm going to share that in my recess. And then the last one is I mentioned resilience, right? Another favorite quote of mine from Kung Fu Panda. First one, meet your destiny on the road you take to avoid it. Sometimes you do. The question is, how prepared are you going to be when that destiny presents itself? They always talk about luck is being prepared when opportunity strikes. Are you prepared? Is there more you can do? Are these some of these classes that you could retake? Because I think those will help to strengthen you, build you, so that you could do even more, right? And very important, sleep, diet, and exercise. I'm still the person. I'm the person that will stay up overnight. But it's on my mind. I'll just stay up through the morning and work, because I used to do that in college sometimes. And I still do that to this day. And it's just recently, this guy, Michael, I forgot his last name, Javot, and he just talked about the importance of sleep. And I'm trying to get to 8 hours. It's a challenge, but I'm trying to get to it. I'm trying to work on my diet, not on a diet, just my diet, making sure I'm eating right, making sure I'm exercising. And so those are things that I'd recommend for you to, especially in the levels of intensity and anxiety that we live in. Please, sleep, diet, and exercise. All right, so in closing, I am calling it recess. There are a few points that I just want to leave with you, in addition to the ones that you've seen. This world as I mentioned, my role before with Microsoft was Director of Societal Impact. Still a director there, but working a lot now on accessibility and sustainability. But when we think about the society, there's a lot going on. And so our society is being challenged, right? It's challenged continuously because challenges don't sleep. And challenges come in many forms. It shows up as racism, classism, gender inequality, all these things. And so as you think about these things, I want you to be that guy. I want you to be that lady that is going to pull others in. Under 30, getting recognized. Congratulations. Can you pull someone else in? And they don't have to be under 30. So some of us over 30 need you to pull us in too. But pull us in. Get your team, I heard the word influencer spoken. Build that team of influencers that can help to share a better message. Because we could be that person that helps to minimize the challenges that we're seeing. Also, demonstrate through your action. It's too quick to this, oh, I talk on social media and so I know it. And so people think they already know, but demonstrate through actions because that speaks so much louder than words. And people follow you more. Yes, we know the followers and the tweets and the so forth, but like Sonic says, right? Do it for the love, not the like. And then also show resilience, right? Empathy and resolve. And leave the people and leave this planet better than you saw it. So again, thank you so much for giving me some time today and just share those words with you. Again, congratulations. Thank you for all that you're doing. And yes, in 2030, I'd love to see even more coming from this cohort. Thanks again.
What an amazing speech.
Thank you.
What an amazing speech. I am an author, and when you touch books, I started going crazy because my research was on everything success, who moved my cheese, all of them brag, and I'm just telling you, it is amazing. So I really want to just join with everyone to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The tips and the recommendations that you give, we think we have to work ourselves frazzle. But we need to get that level of sleep. What did you say? Sleep, diet, and exercise. It is something. And I see you when you get a chance to check the chat because it's going wild. It's going crazy. They are really, really outstanding. I think that your speech was motivating, even to me. Pay yourself first. I remember that one. Pay yourself first because we just give to others and bring others into the fold as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Really appreciate you chatting with our young people today, and I know they benefited from it. We would invite you to maybe participate in our pitch session where you will be able to talk, because now we're winding down and we're going to have our message from Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you to Dr. Claire Nelson, founder and president of the Institute of Caribbean Studies, for that introduction and for all her work this year and every year to organize the Institute's legislative weeks. As the chair of the House Financial Services Committee and the co-chair of the Congressional Caribbean Caucus, I care deeply about the issues affecting Caribbean Americans and the nations and people of the Caribbean region. I'm especially eager to speak with you this year, not simply because it's the 24th year of your ICS Legislative Week, and congratulations to Dr. Nelson on that achievement. Rather, I am to speak with you because I have recently returned from leading a congressional delegation to the Caribbean. While in Bridgetown, Barbados, our group of members joined nearly a dozen heads of state, industry, international financial institutions, and others to discuss concrete actions to improve financial access for the nations, businesses, and citizens of the region. At our full day round, an event that I co-hosted with Barbadian Prime Minister Amir Motley, we looked at how we can collaborate to reverse the trend of a lack of banking services, especially the cross-border correspondent banking services that are the backbone of the tourism trade and remittances that fuel the region's economic growth and stability. Back home in Washington, we're working directly with participants to move those action items from concept to reality. And for our part, the House Financial Services Committee will host a hearing in September on the de-risking, exploring possible legislative and policy steps for the United States Congress and the United States government agencies and our industry. In addition to the financial access issues, our delegation met with officials to discuss climate change concerns and debt challenges. Climate change is having a profound and tragic impact on the Caribbean region. The hurricane season starts early and lasts longer last year. Major hurricanes are becoming more frequent and more catastrophic. Preparing for hurricane season is costly, yet despite the best preparations, some hurricanes are inevitably severe, deadly, and economically. Hello, everyone. Thank you to Dr. Claire. Change is a global problem. It was not caused by the nations of the Caribbean, and these small island nations should not have to bear the financial costs of a global climate crisis that they did not cause. As the chair of the Financial Services Committee, I will be looking at this issue closely in the future. The nations of the Caribbean are our neighbors and our allies. The issues that affect them affect us. That is why I appreciate your interest in U.S.-Caribbean relations, and I so look forward to continuing our efforts to solve the challenges we face together. And thank you so very much. I always look forward to your being here every year, and I enjoy the opportunity to be kept up to date on what is happening with our Caribbean nations and what we can do to be more helpful. Thank you very much.
Dr. Claire, you wanted to say something before we close off with our vote of thanks?
Just briefly to say thank you again to our guest speaker, Alpha Aiken. I have to attest to the work that she did in Jamaica as the Junior Achievement founder and president. ICS was pleased to, at least on 2 occasions, work with them to get support for schools in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. Junior Achievement is a really great story. I personally took away something as well. And like you, when I saw the books, I said, well, next time she should talk about my book, Smart Futures for a Flourishing World. But with that, I just want to say thank you again to her, and I turn the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yes, we can't say too much about that speech. One thing that I'm taking away is that I'm glad it was being live streamed on Facebook, so I can go back and dive into the little nitty-gritties, anything that I missed. So that works for me, and I would share and encourage others to also do that, because those recommendations that she gave are really the meat of what this organization and this institution is all about. So in closing off, we want to just give our thanks to Barbara Lee, who is Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who is always there for us from beginning right through. She is always willing to support all of our needs. And when we're in person, we will meet her usually, but when we're online, of course, we get her still our support, but through the virtual means. We also want to thank Congresswoman Maxine Walters for her words of wisdom that she shared with us just now. Dr. Claire Nelson, I can't stop saying thank you for your vision and resilience. I know that you go from strength to strength to strength. And I'm sure you will take something away from Alfie's presentation as well, because you're just like her. You spend all night going through everything nonstop. So that is something that we all can walk away with. I want to say thanks to the sponsors, our chair, Kishon Keen, who really has stood out for us. He has really been there, and we just want to say thank you, Kishon, for all that you've done for us and for the financial support that you have decided to give to us as well. We really give you thanks for that. Our one of our judges, Cheryl.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Another of our judges, Cheryl, and our attorney Cheryl, and she is of Creative Services, and she too will be providing us with a token as well on behalf of our leaders here. Andrew of Authentic Caribbean, we want to give him thanks too. So all our sponsors, we want to give thanks. And for the coaching, which comes out to the more value than anything, over $1,200 worth of coaching from both myself and Maxine Barnett, who is an executive coach and will be awarding these coaching sessions to.
And myself.
Oh yes, Dr. Claire is, she's always on the back burner there, but she's going to be doing the coaching. So there's a lot of awards and stuff to be given, but this is after our meeting here. The judges, we give thanks again, Miranda, Abby, Cheryl, and Maxine. Thank you and thank you and thank you again. A long hours, but it worked out. To our technical director, and she's none other than, you're seeing her there. She finally showed her face, Charmaine. Thank you for all you've been doing behind the scenes for the entire week, not only for this session, but for the entire week. We give you thanks for that. We really appreciate the long, hard work. And you too should take away what Alfie shared about the long hours. So all of us are taking
May I say one thing on that, please? To remind all our honorees that if they go to our Caribbean American Heritage Month Facebook page, there's a lot of rich material that began with Juneteenth.
Yes.
9 to 5. We really invite you to watch it because we're talking about creating a Caribbean Futures Forum. Those of you who want to participate in the forum that we'll be having in July, you need to really begin to pay attention to what's happening and what we're thinking about the future. Thank you.
Right. That's a lot of valuable information too, because I have sat in some of the programs, and it is really people at the helm who are really doing a lot, high-level leaders who are involved in, the pandemic and all kind of stuff. So we just want to encourage you to follow that and like the page if you haven't yet done so. And as we're on to that, we want to just give thanks and praises to Bradley and Stephanie, who were really behind the scenes and supporting, doing all of the social media posts, doing all of these flyers that you saw were being sent out and everything. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. Bradley, you want to just share and wave?
People see who you are,
wave there.
Bradley.
You have been
Come on, Bradley, let people see you.
supporting Dr. Claire in the nights and those wee hours of the morning when she hollers. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. Brianna, I want to say thanks again as well, because Brianna, late nights, she jumped right in. She was our chair last year, not our chair, our assistant chair, co-chair last year, and she jumped right in when we needed her. I must also mention that Bradley was also our co-chair for this year, and he delved in to do a lot of things and learned a lot, I'm sure, in the process. For the nominators and all who were nominated, we want to say thanks and thanks and thanks again to the nominators. And we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will let Dr. Claire now close off with just sharing a little bit about the pitch session that is going to be starting. I guess we're running behind. It should have started at 2:30, but maybe 2:45 if you are able to make it.
At
You remain
2:40.
on.
Yeah, it's 2:45. I'm not sure how many of you are pitching. We hope at least 3 or 4, 5 years. Some of you seem to have organizations. And so the prizes that we have will be given based on the pitches. So we're giving you, it's 2:34 now, I think 10 minutes by a break. So if you have to leave, you understand. If you don't have to leave, please stay on. We invite everyone to participate, to vote. We're going to have a People's Choice Award as well, in addition to those of us who officially judging. I see the technical director has her hand up. She probably has instructions for us.
Okay, yes. So at the end of this session, we'll stop the live stream and the recording, but we'll continue on into the pitch session. I also want to take a screenshot, so I don't want everybody to run off yet. right? So we'll end the live stream and the recording, but I still want to take some screenshots, okay?
Thank you. So everybody, please turn your pictures on. All the honorees, and let's do a gallery view. All right.
Najai Nunez, we want to see your face.
Gallery view. More people, more people. More people. Where's everybody? We're missing some people.
Okay.
Camera, Ramona camera. You don't have a camera? All right.
I'll still take a few, so.
Okay, let's go.
All righty. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Ignite Caribbean. Okay, wonderful. You all look lovely. Thank you again.
Thank you, Charmaine.
So if you could stop the live stream and